Hey, this is Politics with Laura. I, you know, just when you think that you're able to get a grasp on something, then something comes and just shakes up everything what you thought. And you had a foundation, strong foundation, and then something comes and rocks it all. Fani Willis. Fani Willis. Okay. Just want to make sure that's working. Now, man. Okay. Now, I thought Amber Heard was a gift that keeps on giving, and she was giving gifts, just giving gifts. Well, I gotta say, the long reach of Liz Cheney. If you don't know who Liz Cheney is, here she is. That's Liz Cheney. She's a Republican. Okay, wait a minute. Liz Cheney is the Republican senator from Nevada. Yes. And this woman hates Trump so much that she lost her seat. Now, she was laser focused on him, and she would use anything to get him. But hold on, I got to unpack some stuff. This video is going to be a little long because now a lot of dots I have been able to connect. And they all go back to Liz Cheney. But Liz, she used Fani to knock out some Democrats. You can look. You know how some people say the enemy of my enemy is my friend? Well, we need to update our files because the enemy of your enemy simply can be your damn enemy too. Just a thought. It doesn't always work out the way you thought it would. Now, by Fani being a Democrat, getting information from a Republican, Fani being a Democrat knocked out some high-ranking Democrats in Georgia. And before I go any further, back to Amber Heard. Amber Heard had a petition. People who just the average everyday person who goes and they buy tickets. They were like, if Amber Heard is an Aquaman, I am not going to spend my hard-earned dollars and pay taxes on that ticket to support her. No. She got a petition with 4 million people's signatures name 4 million to keep her out of Aquaman 2. And it happened. But Fani Willis disqualification petition passes 60,000 signatures. They want this woman gone. Petition to get the Fulton County District Attorney Fani Willis disqualified from the former President Donald Trump election interference has received over 60,000 signatures. Willis is prosecuting Trump and 18 others who have been accused of trying to overturn the 2020 election lost in Georgia. The Republican lost the state by 12,000 votes. Now, let's keep this in mind. We got to keep this in mind in order for all of this to come together. That's all I'm going to say. We got to keep that in mind. I didn't mean to do that. So I'm going to do a small recap before I get to the main thing that I'm going to talk about. We got to build up to it. Now, Fani was elected as DA in Fulton County, which happens to be the wealthiest and largest county in Georgia. And she has a nice size budget, in which she was earmarked money to do certain things with the money to help at-risk youths. And she hired her boyfriend that did not take the oath. He did not apply for the job, did not go in front of the board, didn't get elected, none of those things. No, that's not what happened. She brought him in as the assistant DA. She didn't ask anyone. She did. She had to keep her boyfriend next to her. She was like, I got a tall glass of chocolate milk, and he's going to stay next to me. I'm going to pay this man. I'm going to pay this man, and he's going to be with me. We're going to do things together. And that's exactly what happened. Now, Nathan Wade got a little drunk with power. It wasn't his, it was hers. But since he was giving her the fantasy island, she allowed him to do certain things, like say that he was going to take the money, the 40, what was it, the 40 or $440,000 that was earmarked to open up programs for at-risk youths. Now, what Nathan was going to do was buy some bling, bling, bling. Bling, 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 bling. That's exactly what was on his mind. He said it. Now, before all this even occurred, the woman who was over that program came to her, I can't remember her name, came to Fani and said, Fani, look, Nathan is saying that he's going to use this money earmarked for the children to keep them out of trouble. He's going to take the money and buy bling bling with it. And she felt uncomfortable going to Fani, letting her know, to where she taped the conversation to have proof. Now, she wasn't supposed to do that, but she did it, and I get it. Now, when she did it, she went to Fani. Next thing you know, she gets fired. What does she do? She goes to Congress and lets Jim Jordan know, Representative Jim Jordan know what was going on. Now, that's the whole thing right there. It gets more entailed how they went on vacations. Nathan was cheating on his wife with Fani. Fani is just like, he's not giving me stuff. No gifts. Everything he gives me, I pay him back. No money. That's what she's saying. Men, let me ask you a question. How many women have you dated, been married to, or in a long-term relationship to where you all went places and went 50-50 right down the middle to where she paid her half? I'll wait. Not a one. Unless the only way that occurred is if the two of you have no romantic anything, or you're friends and you and the woman doesn't want to give the man any indication that she's into him, she pays her own way for everything. But if you have a romantic relationship, he's spending everything, especially if she's giving him $38,000, $25,000 a month. Okay, but I'll leave it right there. Let me see. Where do I want to begin with? Where do I want to begin with? All right. Okay, let's start here. I mean, it's so much. I'm sitting here trying to figure out where I want to start. Where do I want to start? Okay. Okay, since I talked about the federal dollar grants, let me go ahead and start there. That's a good place than any to start with. Okay, I think this is it. Okay, I'm sorry. I'm just trying to get this right. All right, here it is. Okay. All right. This came out yesterday. Oh, this is not working the way I want it though. Okay, Fani. Okay, I'm sorry. Fulton County District Attorney Fani Willis I'm sorry. Use of a high dollar federal grant for her office received in recent years has come under scrutiny when a whistleblower accusations surfaced that suggested Willis may not have used the funds for its original purpose. Oh, Willis is now facing questions from the Department of Justice and Congress to address certain details about the $488,000 grant her office received that was designated to fund youth centers is a part of Fulton County gang prevention efforts. Now, okay, let's go ahead and say this right here. Fanny's talking about, oh, all these black people, black this, black that, oh, black, praise a black church, praise a black children, and these white people, these racist white people. Yes. Ashley Merchant, racist. Yes, the person over there, racist, pointing out all this racist stuff, all these racist people, right? Because she loved black people so much. She loved black people so much. That's why they didn't receive the money. But when you point that out, like me pointing that out, I'm going to be called all kinds of names. Look, just because Fanny is my skin folk doesn't make her my kinfolk. Let's understand that. She may be my skin folk, but she isn't my kinfolk. And she has proven herself that time and time again. She put herself, her selfish needs and wants before the people of Fulton County, before the black children, to keep them out of gangs in Fulton County, to keep her from prosecuting people like Young Thug and YS whatever the group's name is, to keep them from falling prey to gang violence. Okay. Okay, the whistleblower's name is Amanda Timpson. Accused Fanny in January of firing her after Timpson raised concerns in 2021 that Willis's aide planned, who is Nathan Wade, to use portion of the grant money for frivolous expenses, according to the Washington Free Beacon report. I said, you cannot do that. It is it's a very, very specific grant, Timpson said. And she told Willis of the aid at that time. Okay, I really don't need to continue on because it just goes into the committee, and we already got that. I don't need to revisit that at all. But the whistleblower, Amanda, pointed that out. Let me take that down. Now, this right here is where it really starts to pick up. Okay. Is this okay? Let me come back to that. Okay. Now, Oh my goodness. This gets to be really wild. Now I'm trying to determine which article I'm going to bring up next because it's going to go pew. All right. Here. Oh, I didn't even bring it up. Boop, 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 boop. Okay, now here. Now this is where Liz Cheney comes to play again. Now Liz Cheney is so, and if you don't know who she is, this is who she is, Liz Cheney. This woman, she has a hatred towards Trump that is, I don't think on God's green earth that anyone has seen or heard of anyone who dislikes or hates someone that much as Liz hates Trump. And it goes back to, okay, I can't even say it. Wait a minute. I can't, is it? Oh, okay, 6. All right. So let's go ahead and get into this. But she takes down many people, that Liz. Okay, the indictment alleges that members of a group sold data, including ballot images, voting equipment, software, and personal voter information. Trump's attorney and the co-defendant, Sidney Powell, alleged, if you know who Sidney Powell is, oh, I can't remember her slogan. It was so crazy. Allegedly entered into a written agreement or arrangement with a forensic data firm known as the Sullivan Sticker LLC, that they allege joined in an unlawful breach of election equipment in Coffee County, Georgia. Now, this is right here is quite interesting. It goes back to what Trump was saying. He said, okay, I got to be careful of the algorithm because they are just zinging me every time they take away my watch hours. Man, and they call this freedom of speech. Okay. He has been saying it was mine. I know it was mine. And then they're like, okay, we're going to prosecute you because that's RICO. You threw that out there. You said, find me this, find me this, find me this, get me this, get me this. And because he said that, Fani went after him. I'm going to get Trump. I'm going to get him. Okay, the stolen data was then distributed to other members of the enterprise, including members of other states that the indictment said. Okay. All right. So I'm going to leave it right there. I thought I got the other one. But leaving it up to Liz Cheney. Now, this right here, all of this, what Fani is doing, trying to indict Trump, bringing up everything that she has done and saying, hey, this woman is not professional. This woman has these issues. This woman, she has no business saying that Trump did that as far as the elections. She needs to be disqualified because what she's doing is wrong, indicting all these people and saying that it's RICO, it's RICO, it's RICO. They acted like a syndicate. Now, let's see where it leads back to. Because keep in mind, the enemy of my enemy is not necessarily my friend. Okay? What Liz Cheney opened up allowed Fani to take the ball and run with it. And then Fani knocks out some of her Democratic people. You can't make this up. All right. You can't make it up. Okay. Yes, the prosecutor appointed an investigator to investigate Georgia's Lieutenant Governor Burt Jones in election probe. Ooh, ooh, ooh. Okay. A prosecutor has been appointed to continue to investigate into Georgia's Lieutenant Governor Burt Jones, who became ensnared in the state's election interference probe after after acted as one of the former President Donald Trump's alternative electors following the 2020 election. The investigation into Jones was stalled after Fulton County District Attorney Fani Willis disqualified in July of 2022 from investigating him after she held a fundraiser for his political opponent. Isn't that sneaky and suspicious indeed? Sneaky and suspicious? Jones had been notified that he was a target of the investigation along with the rest of the alternate electors, according to court documents. Now, the independent counsel asked or tasked with appointing a new prosecutor has said that Pete, oh my goodness, Skandaleski or Skandaleskis, I'm sorry, the executive director of Prosecuting Attorney Council of Georgia, will take on the investigation. Skandalekis, will determine what charges, if any, should be brought. The congressional investigation said, the congressional investigator said the so-called fake elector plan sought to assemble a group of individuals of key battleground states and got them to call themselves electors, created a phony certificate associated with these fake electors, and then transmitted these certificates to Washington and to Congress to be counted during the joint session of Congress of January, the 6th day of the week. In the earlier statement, Skandalakis, whatever, said, this case is unprecedented and the scope and nature. Now, I gotta say, Fani, she went after Trump. She tried so hard to say it's him, it's him, it's him. Now, when you pointing at someone, right? You're pointing at someone, you got 3 fingers pointing back, and plus your thumb. So she's doing this, and she got all this pointing back at the Democrats. You can't make this stuff up. You truly can't. In a statement, Jones said that he was happy to see this process move forward and looking forward to the opportunity to get this charade behind him. Fani Willis has made a mockery of the legal process, and she tends to do so, Jones said. I look forward to a quick resolution and move forward with the business of the state of Georgia. Okay, now he's saying, now everything was fine. Everything was fine. It was like, we'll get Trump. Look, he's guilty. He's guilty. Get him, get him, get him. But now that the investigation, and because of Fani and her office, the stuff that's going on. Somebody knock the door? I thought I heard something. Shauna, the door. Oh, man, hold on for a second. Someone knock the door. Sorry about that. Okay. The state of Georgia. Trump and 18 other pled not guilty last August of all charges in a sweeping racketeering indictment for alleged efforts to overturn the results of the 2020 presidential. Hold on for a second. Okay. Sorry about that. Had a package. All righty. Sorry about that. Okay. Okay, sweeping racketeering indictments for alleged efforts to overturn the results of the 2020 presidential elección in El Estado de Georgia. Okay, I'm trying to fool the the algorithm. I don't think that's going to work. I don't know. The four co-defendants subsequently took a plea deal in exchange for an agreement to satisfy against other defendants. Now, this is the interesting thing about court, and that is they'll slow down the process and they'll have you spend all your money up to make you take a plea deal. They're like, well, you're broke. I'm going to stretch it as long as I can, have your lawyers make a whole lot of money defending yourself. And then while you do that, we're going to keep on doing that until we get the indictment. Because whether if you're guilty or not, we just want your butt in jail. Well, okay, I'm not going to put it like that, but let me just back up a little bit. That's a little bit too far. All right. So, okay, here. Now here, the state spearheading investigation into Lieutenant his role in a 2020 interference. Now it gets really wild. Okay, in Fulton County, the decision on who will lead the investigation into Governor or Lieutenant Governor Burt Jones' alleged involvement in attempting to aid former President Donald Trump in overturning the 2020 presidential election in Georgia has been announced. Jones, who was the state senator at the time, was reportedly one of 16 Republicans who convened in December 14th, 2020 at the Georgia's Golden Dome or Gold Dome Capitol, asserted themselves as the legitimate electors. Now, remember when during the disqualification of Fani Willis, when Steve Sudoka was saying about the electors, and how they were not real, what do you call it? Real people working for the government with the Department of Elections. Thank you. And he kept on making that point over and over and over again. That's what he's talking about. That's what he's talking about. Okay, so Jones, along with others, reportedly signed a document stating that they were the duly elected and qualified electors of Georgia. Additionally, Jones argued for the special session of the state legislature to be called to overturn Trump's loss in Georgia and joined the lawsuit seeking to do the same. Jones flew to D.C. on Jan 5th, the 5th of January, 2021, to ask Vice President to delay certification of the Electoral College votes. Jones said repeatedly that he was following the advice of the lawyer at the time. Wow. Oh my goodness. Man, lawyers can get you. Almost 2 years ago, the state's prosecuting attorney's counsel was taken by a Fulton County judge with appointing a special prosecutor examine whether Jones' action constituted criminal behavior. That's him right here, Burt Jones. In February, Fayetteville attorney Wayne Kendall filed a lawsuit in Clayton County against PAC executive director Peter Scandalasks, alleging that Scandalas was sluggish in his effort to secure the special prosecutor for the case. So it goes on and on and on. So here, the state prosecutor to invest. Okay, so it goes on. So what I find quite interesting is this. This is what I find interesting. That is, all of this started because of Liz Cheney. Now, it's easy to go after Trump because Trump, he's a hard person to like. He does things to embarrass you. He does things to make you look bad. And he has a sense of arrogance to him. Oh my goodness, the arrogance is glowing. But does that mean that he's guilty? Now, what they uncovered as far as the wrongdoing in Fulton County in the office of the DA, Fani Willis's office, and all the corruption in there and how it spread out to other people like the Lieutenant Governor, Burt Jones. I mean, he's up to it. Now he's like, well, Fani Willis, she's an embarrassment and she's causing all these issues. So, let her bring it. I can get this behind me so I can keep going. Well, it's wild. It's really wild. But I thought this was interesting. And there was another article that, let me see. Is this it? Oh, here. Yeah, let me show this. Now, I can't play it because there's music and they'll copyright the mess out of me. They'll give me strikes and everything else. Okay. Now here. Now the inconsistencies in the Fulton County District Attorney Philly Willis and the way she used the money. Willis is known for leading the Georgia election interference case against the former president, right? And here, the Trump has denied all charges accusing it. So he denied all of that. And here, the former president was mocked for his behavior during the last. That has nothing to do with this at all. But again, I'm going to go back to what I'm going to go back to. Oh, I didn't mean to do that. I'm going to go back to what I stated earlier. How Fani Willis, she plays the black card only when it suits her. And it's a shame that the woman that blew the whistle on Fani. Now, if it weren't for her blowing the whistle on Fani, we would be none of the wiser. Taking 7 vacations in 6 months on taxpayers' dime. Now, yes, some people are going to say, well, hey, he made the money. Nathan Wade, he worked for the money. No, he worked for the money, but no, his invoices were terrible. You don't spend 8 hours in a meeting and say, well, meeting 8 hours. What did you do in that meeting? That was horrible. And then to get paid what? $20,000? No. But if it weren't for the woman, Amanda, I can't remember her last name, for blowing the whistle and having the foresight to record the conversation to protect herself. Because, again, Fani had dual allegiance, and you can't. Her only allegiance was to the people of Fulton County and to give them the best representation that she can give to make Fulton County a better place by using the funding or using the money that was earmarked for specific programs, and that's not what she did. And when Ashley Merchant or her husband said she enriched herself, all right, please subscribe. Likes are for free. It helps the algorithm. I'm fighting the algorithm. Subscribing is for free too. It helps propel me. Please help me out. And on that note, I truly thank you, and I want to thank you for stopping by.